Okay, guys, there are four sentence structures. You have simple, compound, complex, and compound complex, which joins these two sentence structures into the longest type of sentence structure. So it kind of goes in order from, really simple is the shortest, and then compound and complex can be about the same. So let's get into what these sentence structures consist of. I think of them like Lego blocks. You have an independent clause and a dependent clause. We're going to start with that. That's our first note. If you don't know what an independent clause or dependent clause, if you can't tell the difference between them, you're going to have to take a second to kind of really learn those. You can watch, there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos out there. Just Google independent clause or dependent clause and click on videos, and you'll see a bunch of instructional videos. And most of them, the ones I've seen, the top hits, like within the top 10, are pretty good. Some of them are a little too lengthy, but they do a good job of explaining the difference. So here's my quick explanation for the difference between those two. Okay, an independent clause. I'm going to put this at the top because it's kind of like a precursor note. It's my preface, I guess, what you need to know before you start really mastering sentence structure. So, independent clause. Let me get rid of this shade. I got a dog eating in the background. I got Allie eating right next to me. So if you hear noise, it's coming from them. So I apologize for that. Oh yeah, we're talking. That's Allie. She says hi. Allie, can you say hi? Hi. Hi. Okay. So an independent clause, I'm going to refer to as IC. Okay. And it equals a subject plus verb plus a finished thought. So an independent clause is your basic unit for the sentence. It's the whole sentence. Subject, verb, finished thought. One complete sentence. It's a fancy way to say complete sentence. Dependent clause, on the other hand, which I'll refer to as DC. It might have a subject. It might even have a verb. But it does not have a finished thought. Okay? So it's what you might call a fragment or an incomplete sentence. Okay? So those are two notes you need to know ahead of time. So we'll put them at the top. That way you can refer to them throughout this lesson if you need to. So a simple sentence is basically one independent clause. So let's take an example like, I'm gonna use you, Allie. Sorry, kiddo. You come into the lessons a lot. So here's an example. So simple sentence, the pattern is it's one independent clause. So let's look at an example sentence. Allie is my subject. The verb is what? What are you doing? Are you eating? Eating. So Allie eats. Bananas. Allie eats bananas. There's a simple subject, okay? Now, for the sake of the explanations, I'm going to keep my sentences short and sweet. Now, I know that we all write longer sentences, some of which use the word I. So you need to be aware of pronoun subjects, okay? So that's another note to keep in mind, that you have these pronouns the pronoun as subject. So these can be words like I, he, she, it, we, and they. Okay, so all of those, if you see them, they could serve as a subject to a sentence. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so Allie eats bananas. There's our simple sentence. It's following the IC period pattern, independent clause. Now, a compound sentence is going to be IC. So it's joining two independent clauses. So the trick is you want to join two independent clauses. Now, there are two ways to join them. Oh, we're almost done, babe. One is with the semicolon. So IC, semicolon, IC. Notice I lowercase the second independent clause because they are one sentence all together. So you're joining two independent clauses. So here's what it looks like. Allie eats bananas, semicolon. She also eats apples, period. There you go. So my first independent clause right here, Allie eats bananas, semicolon, she also eats she also eats apples is my second independent clause. Now there's another way to write a compound sentence, and it looks like this. I see, comma, include a fanboy, and you have your second independent clause. So here's what that structure looks like. Oops. Allie eats bananas. Whoops. You're too cute. She's trying to talk so much, guys. So Allie eats bananas, semicolon. And I'm going to use and because and is it makes the most sense here. So and is a fanboy. I'm going to get into that in a second. So Allie eats bananas, comma, and she eats apples, period. There you go. Okay, so another note at the top that you need to know. Fanboys. Okay, so these are called coordinating conjunctions. Remember the Schoolhouse Rock video, conjunction, conjunction, what's your function? That's what they're talking about. So these include the mnemonic device fanboys to help you remember for, and, but, or, yet, so. Fanboys. So depending on what you're trying to connect, you might want to use the word for. For is more like because, and it's kind of outdated. We don't use it as much anymore. We just switch it from a compound sentence to a complex sentence by injecting the word, the subordinating conjunction because. Anyways, so for and nor, forgot one, but, or, yet, and so. Oh yeah. Okay. So I used and because I wanted to say that in addition to bananas, she eats apples, right? So and makes the most sense there, okay? So those are the two ways, the two patterns for a compound sentence right there, okay? Now we're going to get into the complex sentence. In the complex sentence, you need to know another type of conjunction. It's called the subordinating conjunctions, okay? Now these are conjunctions. There's a whole bunch of them. Now, there's two ways to remember them. One is it's called, I think it's woo, this. Let's see if I can remember them all. So it's like, you can use the word as, after, although, when, while, whenever. So there's another W in there. So awubis. Allie, say awubis. So when, while, whenever, until, because, if, and so. And actually, there's one more B in there because we could also use the word before. So before is another subordinating conjunction. Okay, you're all done? Let's go. Come on. Breaks. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Here, you want your baba? Okay, here you go. Go get him. Okay. So now you have your complex sentence. Just keep the subordinating conjunctions in mind. Okay. Oh, I did say that there's another way. Sorry, there's swabby is another one. So swabby is since, when, / while, after, and I think we did because, / before, and if. Okay, so swabby or awubis. Either way, try to remember the subordinating conjunctions because when you use them, you're creating what's called a dependent clause. So here are the patterns for a dependent clause. Could go IC, DC, or it could go DC, comma, IC. Notice if the dependent clause comes first, you need this comma after that dependent clause. Okay, I'm approaching the free recording limit, so I'm going to stop and create a part 2 of this video.